Spring 1992, Agawam, Massachusetts. Quiet town, population 25,000. A place where teachers know the kids by name and the biggest scandal is the price of gas. And then one ordinary April evening, a young woman named Lisa Ziegert simply vanished. I spent 3 decades chasing killers, and every case taught me one truth. The story is always in the evidence. Now I consult for CSBN, breaking down cases that went cold. Some solved, some not. I'm Frank Delaney, and this is my take on the case. Lisa was 24, a teacher's aide at Agawam Middle School and a clerk at Brittany's Card and Gift Shop, a cheerful little storefront on Walnut Street that smelled of candles and greeting cards. She was saving for grad school, working 2 jobs, adored by her students. Morning of April 16th, the day clerk unlocked the door. The lights were still on. The radio was playing. Lisa's purse was behind the counter. Her car was in the lot. No money missing. No sign of forced entry. But the back room told the story. Boxes overturned, displays shoved aside, a few drops of blood on crushed cardboard. A fight, quick, violent, and one-sided. She never had a chance. Investigators canvassed the strip mall. No security cameras back then, just glass windows and trust. Someone had walked in, waited, and taken Lisa. 3 days later, on Easter Sunday, a dog walker found a body half covered in brush off Route 75. It was Lisa. She'd been sexually assaulted and stabbed multiple times. Her throat cut. Her denim skirt was torn completely in half, not along a seam, but ripped with the strength of a man possessed. Overkill. It spoke of rage and domination, not robbery. The location was remote but familiar to locals. A service road leading to old sand pits. Whoever dumped her there knew Agawam's back roads. The evidence pointed to a local. Then came the chaos. Lisa's death landed on the front page of the Springfield Union News for weeks. Reporters filled in the blanks with whispers, and small-town gossip became investigative theory. People said Lisa's boyfriend wasn't telling everything, that she'd caught him in an intimate situation with his roommate, a young man whose father was a retired police detective. The rumor spread fast. Jealousy, confrontation, maybe cover-up. By summer, the theory had taken on a life of its own. Neighbors repeated it like gospel. Psychics offered tips. Tabloids hinted the case was being protected from within. Detectives followed every thread. The boyfriend, the roommate, the father. They pulled phone records, ran polygraphs, checked alibis. All of it came back clean, but the damage was done. Those false leads ate months of man-hours and fractured trust between the department and the public. Meanwhile, the real killer walked free. Now we turn to a woman named Joyce, who was dealing with the fact that something was off. Around the time Lisa disappeared, her husband came home late, agitated with cuts on his hands. He presented her with a small music box, said he'd bought it at Brittany's Card and Gift Shop. Joyce knew that was Lisa's store. The gesture chilled her. Behind closed doors, his behavior was spiraling. He was obsessed with violent pornography, particularly bondage and abduction themes. Joyce later described his role-playing as terrifying, not fantasy. She packed up their baby and fled to Seattle in early 1993. Before leaving, she made a brave move. She told her attorney, "Tell the police my husband killed Lisa Ziegert." The message reached investigators, but it never made it to the case file's priority list. Gary's attorney shot back that Joyce was a jealous, unstable alcoholic. The woman, labeled bitter and crazy, was easy to ignore. A rookie move, a missed, no, and ignored opportunity to clear the case. The tip got logged and forgotten. No DNA request, no search warrant, no follow-up. That omission cost a quarter-century. Joyce raised her son alone in Washington state, living under an unresolved parental kidnapping warrant for taking her child across state lines. She would die in 2014, still branded a fugitive. Her warning didn't solve the case, but it did get her husband's name in the file. In 2002, detectives invited him for an interview, one of dozens of persons of interest revisited as DNA testing improved. He arrived in a trench coat and latex gloves, claiming he had chemical sensitivities. When asked for a DNA sample, he refused and launched into a monologue about human cloning and government misuse of genetic material. Another missed opportunity. I can only surmise they chalked it up to eccentricity, not guilt. He walked free again. By 2016, forensic science had caught up with arrogance. Hampton County's cold case unit submitted biological evidence from Lisa's clothing to Parabon Nanolabs in Virginia, a pioneer in DNA phenotyping. Instead of just comparing DNA, Parabon predicted appearance, eye color, hair color, skin tone, even face shape. Out came a computer-generated composite, a middle-aged white male with light brown hair and hazel eyes. It wasn't a photograph, but it was close enough to restart a dead investigation. Detectives spread the composite across social media, hoping someone would recognize the face. And as they reviewed the old files, one name matched both the face and the timeline. Gary Shara, the man who'd refused DNA in 2002. A grand jury authorized a subpoena for his genetic sample. Police went to his home to serve the order. Shara was gone. He'd fled to Connecticut. Before leaving, he left a letter for his girlfriend, a handwritten confession. In it, he described his lifelong fascination with abduction and bondage pornography, and admitted that he'd let myself do something terrible. He tried to kill himself with a drug overdose. He survived. When police found him, they collected the letter and a toothbrush. The DNA was a perfect match to the semen recovered from Lisa's body and skirt. 25 years after the crime, the killer was named. He had the audacity to plead not guilty, but reversed course shortly after. He was found guilty, of course he was. He received life in prison without the possibility of parole. Years later, prosecutors acknowledged that Joyce Shara had given police the right name back in 1993, a warning that couldn't be verified at the time, but ultimately pointed straight to the killer. Shara's DNA now sits in the National CODIS database, checked against unsolved cases across the country. Investigators believe he may have offended before. His violent fantasies were practiced, not impulsive. In the end, it took 25 years, a new technology, and a confession letter to get justice for Lisa Ziegert, if you can call it justice. As for Gary Shara, he sits in a maximum security cell far from the woods where he left her. And somewhere in the court archives, Joyce Shara's ignored statement still sits, proof that sometimes the truth comes early and we just don't believe it. That's the cost of arrogance in police work. Let me know what you think. Did investigators drop the ball, or is this just armchair quarterbacking? Was this his only kill? Take a moment to subscribe and give a like, or don't. Either way, I'll keep giving you my take